Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sun Titan is clearly good in a deck like this, but maybe Banestar would be better. So anyway, for those of you just joining us, I'm Gavin Verhey. I'm here with Adrian Sullivan, and we are going to round 10, the final round, final Swiss round of the Star City Games Open Series here in Atlanta, Georgia. And both players are playing for top 8.
Yeah, it was sunny earlier. Now we're approaching the middle of the evening, so it's no longer sunny. Hopefully, one of these decks here is going to emerge victorious. The sadness that would be if there was a draw here and neither of them made it. That would be truly sad.
So on your right, we have David Sharfman. David is playing a pretty innovative blue-white deck. No Squadron Hawks, no Stoneforge Mystics, no swords. Just Everflowing Chalice, Wall of Omens, Sun Titan, Seagate Oracle, Contagion Clasp, Tumble Magnet. He took a loss in round 4, and now he's battled back all the way to play for top 8 here. He's got 9 Planeswalkers. Venser the Sojourner makes an appearance.
Right.
He felt like his bad matchup was Cobblade, but fortunately he doesn't have to play against that this round. Instead, he's playing against Rug. Now, Rug is traditionally a bad matchup for Cobblade, but interestingly enough, David's configuration might be well poised against it.
Yeah, I mean, when we think about the ways that Rug usually ends up overwhelming a control opponent, is that Lotus Cobra comes down, and they're doing a lot of the same stuff. They both got Preordains, they both got Jaces, they both usually have Mana Leaks. In this case, both players have 4 of each. Actually, there's 5 Jaces from David Sharfman. He does a 2-3 split, 2 Bellerin, 3 Jace the Mind Sculptor. And Lotus Cobra itself, that card by itself, just pushes things over in terms of making threats happen. We got Matt Cameron on the play here. And David Sharfman.
So no turn 2 ramp by Matt Cameron.
A couple of options here. He's like, okay, do I put this this non-blue land into play and let you know the coast is clear? Do I maybe make it look like I'm Boros?
Yeah, it's interesting if maybe these players don't know what each other are playing, although this late in the tournament, sometimes you have an idea from sitting next to people and so forth, but it's hard to know for sure. David Sharfman, a player who's no slouch. He just won Grand Prix Paris not that long ago. He's had some Nationals top 8s, I believe. Won a Star City Games Open Legacy with Goblins last year.
Right.
Player knows what he's doing. Matt Cameron, I think, is probably a local newcomer to the scene.
Yeah. Well, down here, we're here in Atlanta for the Star City Games Open Series in Atlanta. It is standard here on day 1. And one of these players will be going on to top 8. We will do top 8 tonight after this round, and then top 4 will continue tomorrow morning.
Right, at 8 a.m. sharp. Edgar Flores just walked by to inform us that he is locked for top 8, he feels. So Edgar Flores makes another top 8 to add to his impressive resume. What a crazy character, just continually coming out to these events and doing so well. He's quickly joining the ranks of Alex Bertoncini and Jerry Thompson. Tumble Magnet for David Sharfman there.
Now, Tumble Magnet in this matchup, its real use is just to hold down a Titan, because there's not much else it can do in this matchup.
Yeah, that Tumble Magnet's not so exciting here. Those 3 magnets, I will probably get boarded out by David Sharfman.
Here comes a Jace.
And Tumble Magnet not so good against Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, I would not be happy to be sitting in David Sharfman's seat in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, David seems a little light on blue, which is something he really needs. He's got a Jace sitting in his hand, a Spreading Seas. He just drew Seachrome Coast, which will help him a little bit. Let's see. Down comes another Tumble Magnet. So he had the double magnet hand. Definitely not what you want in this
double
matchup.
Magnet and just getting his blue now.
Yeah.
I mean, unless some exciting stuff happens with, like, say, a Venser resolving very soon.
Yeah, without maybe Venser would be able to turn things around, but Matt doesn't have any acceleration, which is the one thing kind of holding him back.
Even without that, though, he can still be a more pure control deck of the old school variety. Look, I've got blue mana open, and look, I've got a Jace activating Brainstorm every turn. Even without, or in this case, he's Jacing to the face now.
Yeah, just goes for the Fate Seal and puts it on the bottom of David Sharfman's library, perfectly content to leave it there. And Matt lays a Forest, goes for Preordain. Yep, Preordain comes down.
I see a blue spell. Is that a Mana Leak?
Potentially. I couldn't quite make it out. He leaves
Puts
both
it on
of them there,
top.
whatever it is. And passes back. Jace sitting on 7 counters.
And that looks like either another preordain or a mana leak. I couldn't tell which. It's just very small glimpse.
Let's see, Sharfman just cast a Seagate Oracle. We'll see what Matt Cameron decides to do here. He's concealing his hand. Yep, and he does have the mana leak.
Just holding David off of mana at this point is of value.
Right, I mean, Matt is in a situation where he can just keep Fate Sealing with that Jace and go ultimate pretty quickly.
Yep. Jace to the face. Leaves it on top. Bad sign for David Sharfman. David Sharfman does look like he has a Spreading Seas in hand, so he can push past this card if it's not good, so long as the Spreading Seas resolves.
And interestingly enough, he could Spreading Seas his own planes to get a second blue source.
Are there Raging Ravines over there?
There are Raging Ravines over there, 2 of them. So David Sharfman goes for Spreading Seas on his own land.
Nope.
Gets mana leaked.
Does not want that to happen. Again, it's just he doesn't want to have David see a fresh card, and he doesn't want David to have 2 blue.
Yeah, but does not want a Jace to interfere with his Fate Sealing plans. And Fate Seals and thinks about the top card. Can't quite. I think it's an artifact. Is that Everflowing Chalice? I can't quite make it out. He's looking at it for a long time. Ends up putting it on the bottom, shipping yet another card with that Mind Sculptor. Down comes Mountain. And there's Avenger of Zendikar. As if Fate Sealing wasn't a problem enough, now Avenger is going to produce a sizable threat for David Sharfman to deal with.
A Day of Judgment, if he has one in his hand, will take care of things. I don't know that he does.
What?
Spreading Seas on his own land.
Draws a card.
Draws through. Gets another land that he needs desperately.
Yeah, there's a Colonnade. But even if he finds a way to deal with that Jace, that Avenger of Zendikar is going to be a huge problem for David Sharfman. Let's see if Matt has a fetch land here.
It won't be too difficult to find one with that Jace if he doesn't already have one.
I think he has Scalding Turn. Yeah, he's got Scalding Turn. And activates Raging Ravine.
Heavy beatdown actions here.
Oh, I guess he's just thrusts it forward. Let's see. Matt doing some combat math, trying to figure out what could go wrong.
At this point, if he does this strike and comes in, if there's a land that he can lay, that's a Scalding Turn he put into play, right? He is going to be able to do, that would be 5 plus 14 plus the Raging Ravine for death.
Plus infinite. And David Sharfman quickly packs in. Camera has not been kind to David Sharfman so far today. Every time we've seen him, he's been mana screwed or color screwed, and yet he wins the rest of his game, so perhaps we cursed him this round.
So, David Sharfman, probably going to bring in some flash freezes, I would be willing to bet. I like him bringing in Day of Judgment. Even if there's only one Avenger of Zendikar, he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And it's always useful to do things like kill the Precursor Golem that his opponent has access
Kill
to.
a Titan.
Kill Inferno Titan. I don't mind either of those cards.
Even killing Oracle Moldiah is reasonable. I think if as long as you're willing to 1-for-1 with your Day of Judgment, it's fine. Maybe even killing Lotus Cobra in some situations is okay.
How do you feel about Negate in this matchup?
I don't think Negate is that going to be that good here. I think the cards you're countering are like Mana Leak, like Explore. That doesn't really excite me that much. I think he's going to bring in the third Spreading Seas, though.
So we're going to have Tumble Magnets go away, almost certainly.
Yeah, those
and with Tumble Magnets going away, the Clasp is a good answer to Lotus Cobra. Wall of Omens. Wall of Omens does not seem particularly exciting. It seems like its biggest use is as a Venser flash.
Yeah, I think we might see Wall go here. I mean, the Temple Magnets definitely go. Let's see. He's going to want to bring in 3, 4, potentially 5 cards. So I think you cut the 3 Tumble Magnets and maybe 2 Walls, or maybe Seagate Oracle probably goes before Wall goes, right? Because Wall costs 1 less.
One of the things I like about Seagate Oracle actually does put a little bit of pressure on Jace the Mind Sculptor. So
that is true.
I think I would keep it in.
Okay. So I think he'll take out one of those 2 cards. I think that's pretty likely. I think you need the clasps, you need the chalices, Magnet stays in. You're not going to cut Sun Titan, and I don't think you're going to cut any of the Planeswalkers. Now, when we talked to David Sharfman in the booth earlier, he said that he felt like Jace the Mind Sculptor was his weakest card. So, it's potential maybe you could side them out, but in this matchup, I don't think that's a reasonable choice at all.
No, I mean, when you're fighting in the Jace war, you really do want all the Jaces you can have, just to try to, do the sad play of killing their Jace with your Jace.
Yep, exactly. Let's see. Huh. Yeah, I think those Tumble Magnets are going to go out. And players shuffling out for game 2 after Matt Cameron takes a blistering game 1.
Matt Cameron, on the other hand, I expect he's going to bring in 2 acidic slimes for this matchup, and he might not bring in much else of anything. He didn't see much from David Sharfman. But acidic slime, even though it's not taking out something like a sword, it will end up having, even though even though the tumble magnets are probably going to go out, the ability to kill mana, whether it's Everflowing Chalice or just a random land, can be effective in this matchup. Particularly when you think about the ability to go turn 2 Lotus Cobra and into turn 3 Acidic Slime.
Yeah, that is very brutal. A play that's certainly much better on the play than on the draw. Now David has Mana Leak, which will hopefully, he aims to stop that. Flash Freeze as well. I don't think you cut any Mana Leaks, right? You want all 7 counters?
I think you want them. I mean, even though like it's not necessarily a hard counter over the late game, the early game there's a lot of wrangling around that matters.
Yeah, I agree. All right, looks like the players are off to the races. David leads with the Glacial Fortress and passes the turn. Down comes Raging Ravine.
Turn 2, Celestial Colonnade, Island, I think, or is it Tectonic Edge in hand? He's got Mana Leak available. Matt Cameron lays an island. Celestial Colonnade, draw go, draw go, draw go.
Yeah, David is perfectly happy just playing lands. He'll leave up Counterspell mana here to catch whatever Matt's going to do.
Preordain? Sure.
Yeah, Preordain away.
I think I saw a Mana Leak there and a land.
Yep, I also believe I saw that. Mana Leak and a land. Think you keep the Mana Leak or do you think you ship them?
I like the land. I don't know. Did he ship the Mana Leak, it looked like?
He shipped the land and took the leak.
Okay. He might have plenty of mana already. Class. And I think he did not get a 4th land here.
Is David stuck on lands again?
Oh, no,
there it is.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. We've cursed him in the feature match area. Let's see. And here comes Lotus Cobra for Matt Cameron.
I would counter that.
Sharfman has 2 Mana Leaks, so he can even use one on this Cobra. And the problem is, if he lets the Cobra resolve, it's going to start negating the Mana Leaks that he has.
Exactly. That's why you want to counter that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it resolves.
So he chooses
But he's
to
got
not
a clasp
counter.
in hand. He's got a Contagion Clasp.
Right.
Wow. Okay. There's a clasp in hand.
So he clasps it down the Cobra.
That actually makes it more reasonable because now the only problem is if he gets this Mana Leak, there's the Mana Leak. Now if he fights back, that means he's going to be tapped out in case the Jace comes down.
Right, and he knows he can't afford to risk that, so he passes back, and that's why I really like countering that Lotus Cobra there.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's make you tap. You just tap your lands on their turn instead of yours. All right, so another class.
Another class.
So, but now he is tapped out, and Matt is free to do whatever he wants this turn, and David can't mess with him.
Let's see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Who knows? Oh, that's a good sign if he starts with Preordain.
Yeah, it's true. Let's see.
Give me something good to eat.
I
Matt
saw
wants it.
Misty Rainforest there. Misty Rainforest and a card behind it I can't quite see.
Was that both on top?
Yeah, left both on top. That is not what David wants to see, I'm sure. Okay, explore. Draws a land. Going to drop 2 lands.
Yep.
And
3
passes.
cards left in hand, is that?
Looks like 3 cards. I think one of them is an Inferno Titan.
And here comes the little Jace, I think.
Yep, there's little Jace.
Little Jace, 2 mana available.
So David not punished for tapping out there.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It can be something that can be dangerous, but they have to have the response for it to be something that you get punished for.
Right.
And now I'm going to be willing to bet that that little Jace is going to do so much work right now.
I agree entirely, yeah. I mean, just going to draw David cards he needs to get up to start battling. There's a Temple Magnet for Matt Cameron.
Temple Magnet, wow.
So once again,
that's from the board.
Yeah, so I'm sure Matt thought, okay, well, he's playing Blue-White Cobblade. However, that is not what he's playing at all. So he tech edges down to the only red source for Matt Cameron. And
Another little draw.
Jace, give me a card.
Now that Contagion class that he has in play with the Jace means that he doesn't even actually have to ever do that point of, oh, well, let's both get a card. He'll only have to do that if he's forced to tap down.
Right. And now it's even awesomer because he has that Everflowing Chalice, so he can kick that up and start making mana.
So, I love that. It's so insane.
Yeah, that is really excellent. David gets a land. And yeah, now he's free to proliferate it up. Kicks up Chalice by 1, kicks Jace back up to 2, and that's an engine right there, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like David kept a Temple Magnet in. I see one in his hand. It's curious. I thought for sure he'd have taken all those out, but I guess he wants to keep those Titans down. So David draws another card off Jace, draws a Gideon. And pays 2 for a Seagate or 3 for a Seagate Oracle, only having to tap 2 because of the Chalice being on 2.
Summons out a mana leak. He does not bother to pay.
He's
he
like,
doesn't need to pay.
Yep, I'll just keep up 4. I'll keep making mana. Rampant Growth, draw a card for end of your turn. Seems good.
Now look at that mana that he has. He's got so much mana now.
Yeah.
There's a big Jace, there's a mana leak, there's a Gideon. He can easily cast the Gideon and have a lot of mana left over to be able to pay for a mana leak. And maybe be able to pay for the cost of a mana leak afterwards as well. Has he laid a land yet? If he hasn't laid a land, then that's true. If it is the case, then not so much.
He's got a Venser sitting in his hand also.
Okay.
That's pretty sick too.
Oh my goodness.
Flicker out my Jace, reset it to 3. Flicker out my Clasp, kill your guy.
I have to imagine that Tumble Magnet's going to end up being sided out after...
Yes. I mean, it might tap a Gideon a couple times, but that's about the extent of it. So Matt's like, all right, time to thin the deck, crack 2 fetch lands. And here's Inferno Titan.
Mana leak.
And with only 2 mana untapped, just gets mana leaked.
Says go. Another Contagion class.
Now I think we're going to see Venser this turn. So
attacks and activates as a creature and then is tapped by Tumble Magnet.
So there's
3 mana for another Tumble Magnet.
That'll deal with Matt's Tumble Magnets.
Venser. Venser flickers Jace.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just re-ups it on loyalty.
And end of the turn, Jace comes back with 3 loyalty.
How fortunate.
These have been 2 very lopsided games.
There's another Inferno Titan.
Inferno Titan number 2.
Mana leak.
Mana leak.
Halimar Depths. And we're going to see a concession here.
He's got a shuffle effect, so it's 2 turns before he can do anything with this. That Tumble Magnet, at least, wow, does not tap the other Tumble Magnet.
Okay. So he's just going to wait for Matt to run out of counters. I would have probably wanted to be aggressive here, but especially because you can proliferate it up, you can flicker it out, so you're not really losing anything by tapping that magnet.
Sun Titan.
Man, Sun Titan back
Seagate
Seagate.
Oracle.
That's pretty
I
absurd.
think I saw a Celestial Colony, but I might have been wrong there for what his pull was.
There's a negate, so he did bring in the negates. Now, so Gideon gets tapped. And Venser Sun Titan. Is this about to happen? Oh my. And this is the power of this blue-white deck from David Sharfman.
I mean, just try to imagine you're on the other side of the table from David Sharfman, and you've gotten to this stage in the game. What do you possibly draw that brings you back into this?
Planar Cleansing, that's about it. There's not a lot you can do here. And even then, he's drawn all those cards from Jace. I mean, I don't know, Sway of the Stars, like...
You have to do stuff that is generally not seen in rational decks.
Yeah, it's... I can't imagine what Matt would have to do to win this game, straight from Magic alone. Now, you know, if he's playing it through, I think, because, you know, the game has been fast, and if David messes up, gets a warning or something, you know, that could be relevant, draws an extra card, and you can respect playing for that. But things are looking pretty grim for him right now. David basically has everything. Yeah, he's like, I'm not even going to play it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice for David Sharfman. When I talked to him, he said that 9 was the total he had gotten so far. So, does not beat his dice total. What an interesting deck. That's pretty cool to see that in action. That might just be what we need.
I mean, I know we were talking about earlier the blue-white deck that I've been working on that was similar to this, and I think one of the things maybe I need to consider is Venser. So if you're working on a deck like this, Venser might be something that gives you what you need. You
know, it's funny, we were talking earlier about Venser, and we were like, oh, okay, he seems kind of cool, it's a cool thing to do, and then we saw him in action this game, and I mean, granted, David had the game pretty much on lock, but in a different situation, it could have been extraordinarily powerful.
Well, and that's just what I believe... I want to say it's Brad Nelson was saying that he feels that, whether it might not be Brad Nelson, but I think it is, that Venser is one of those cards that is great when you're already at that point, but not so great before then.
Right.
And, I mean, the thing is if you build your deck in a way that makes it so that you have something going with Venser at any point, then there might be something really to it. I still want to actually sit down and play a deck with start out with maybe 3 Vensers, which I think would be too much, just so I can draw it, just so I can see, and see if I want to cut it down, and maybe it'll get cut down to 2, maybe it'll get cut down to 1, maybe it'll go down to 0. But I know I'm curious about how that card's going to work right now in a deck like this.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you just joining us, I'm Gavin Verhey here with Adrian Sullivan, and we're going to do an intense Game 3. Both players playing for top 8 of this tournament in the last round. Matt Cameron's going to be on the play. He's playing Rug. Pretty stock Rug list. 2 main deck Precursor Golems. He's got 4 Inferno Titans, 1 Avenger of Zendikar, an Oracle, and of course the ubiquitous Lotus Cobra. In the sideboard, he's got 2 Tumble Magnets, which he brought in, but I doubt we're going to see those in Game 3. I think he figured out that David Sharfman is not blue-white Cobblade. He is just blue-white control, which is really interesting. David Sharfman's deck is quite innovative with 4 Wall of Omens, 2 Sun Titan, 2 Seagate Oracle, 9 total Planeswalkers with 3 Mind Sculptors, 2 Balerons, 2 Gideon Juras, 2 Vensers, and then a package with Contagion Clasp, which was really good for him in the last game, of 3 Clasp, 3 Magnet, 3 Everflowing Chalice, and then 4 Mana Leak, 2 Spreading Seas, 2 Day of Judgment.
Right. We talked before, we weren't sure if Negate would be brought in, and David Sharfman did bring in the 2 Negates.
Yeah, so I think you might just want to go counter heavy here, because there's no way he brought Negate and left Flash Freeze out, I don't think.
I mean, I like Flash Freeze in this matchup, particularly if you're on the play, because that way you can Flash Freeze a Lotus Cobra as well. But we'll have to see. Yeah,
I mean, it's possible that he was under the line of thought that, you know, you want to negate Jace the Mind Sculptor because that's what's important. But in my head, I just, like, Flash Freezes just counter so many crucial cards that I don't think you can leave it in your board. So if you brought in at least three Flash Freezes, at least 1 negate, probably both of them, and maybe the Spreading Seas, the Day of Judgment. I'm not sure what he took out. We saw he left Tumble Magnet in his deck. So I'm not sure if he shaved on Planeswalkers, but that doesn't really make much sense. Maybe he shaved all of his Wall of Omens. We didn't see any of that game. We only saw Seagate Oracles. So that could be something that moved too. Regardless, we're going to find out shortly. Players draw their 7, and this is it, the moment of trepidation. They look at their opening hands, and they're like, whew, all right, this is it. This is what I'm playing for top 8 with. After all day playing, it comes down to this.
Who do you like in this last game in terms of who do you think is going to come out on top based on the decks?
I think Sharfman is favored as long as there isn't a turn 2 Lotus Cobra on Matt Cameron's side. If there's a turn 2 Cobra and Sharfman doesn't have the clasp, though, I think Sharfman is going to be hard-pressed to win this game.
I think that's probably fair. He left a card on top, which bodes ill for David Sharfman, pardon me. Cobra or no?
Does he have it?
Cobra.
There's 2. Explore, okay.
Explorer's pretty solid as well.
That's another card that'll certainly help. It's no Lotus Cobra, but it's still very strong. I'm guessing that Sharfman probably kept his hand with Cobra in mind, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a clasp in it, causing Matt Cameron to think, well, maybe I should lead, maybe Explorer's going to be more valuable in this matchup than Cobra. So once again, Sharfman perfectly content playing land go, and even though Cameron was on the play here, Sharfman is, now they're more or less at parity. Sure, Matt Cameron is a land drop ahead, but Sharfman has mana up to do what he wants. He can start, sitting on his counter magic, playing out his options.
Looking at the cards that I saw there in Matt Cameron's hand, I see Lightning Bolt, which, honestly, the way that David Sharfman's been playing, he's been playing very cautiously. It strikes me that Lightning Bolt is going to be a pretty weak card in this match.
Yeah, I really doubt he's going to be able to catch a Jace off guard. I mean, I could see it happening, but I don't really expect it to happen. So let's see. So Matt Cameron is on 6 lands. I think he's got Inferno Titan. He's holding this card kind of close to his chest, both literally and figuratively. But okay, goes for Precursor Golem, and Manly from David Sharfman knocks that out. And Sharfman's right where he wants to be. He's playing the control deck.
Yep. Does he get the opportunity to lay a Jace here to punish Matt Cameron for that Precursor Golem?
That'd be very rough for Matt Cameron if that happens.
I don't think he has a Jace. I see his hand looks pretty colorless and white to me.
I also see a lot of colorless. I see 1 or 2 Contagion Clasps.
If he's got a second Contagion Clasp, I wouldn't mind dropping one just to start upping the. Gideon. Venser.
Interesting. And he drops his hand. So Venser, he can untap a land, so he can still play out that Glacial Fortress and have counter mana up, which is pretty interesting. So he goes +1, or +2. He's going to anyway. Flickers out a land. Going to play a Glacial Fortress, and passes. Now he can represent Mana Leak. While Venser builds toward its ultimate, which is completely brutal if he gets it off.
It doesn't take very long to get there either.
No, it's -8, correct?
Yes.
Or is it -7?
I think it's maybe -7. I think it's 8 though.
I thought it was 8 because Venser got to stay and play.
-8.
Yeah, -8. So Venser will stay and play when that happens. If that happens. But the double Lightning Bolt in Matt Cameron's hand makes that unlikely. Yeah, so we're going to see a Bolt here.
Resolves, that's fine.
Yep, and then another Bolt will take down that Venser. But still, Matt used both of his bolts to deal with one Venser. And granted, those bolts weren't going to do a lot anyway, but still draws cards the way that he could be using otherwise.
Land Inferno Titan.
Okay.
If that resolves, that's going to be just absolutely brutal.
Oh, and it resolves.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought Sharfman had the counter there, but
I did too.
Apparently not. He's playing so confidently. Good play by Sharfman, but it wasn't good enough.
3 mana Tumble Magnet.
There's a magnet and
magnet for the Titan. That's what it's there for.
Clasp for the Clasp for Titan. I'll get you eventually.
The final countdown. Do-do-do-do.
Huh, interesting. And yeah, and thanks to that clasp, the magnet isn't going offline anytime soon.
Matt Cameron needs to follow up with something. There's something.
Perhaps that. Now Sharfman needs a second Tumble Magnet fast.
Or a Day of Judgment.
Or a Day. Either of those would be satisfactory.
Oh, I see a Gideon. He can lay a Gideon, kill the tapped Titan.
That's exactly.
And then tap the other. Boom.
Man.
Royal Assassin. He's got Icy Assassin here.
And it looks like, I think I see Spreading Seas and Sun Titan both in David Sharfman's hand.
I remember Rashad earlier in, like, I believe this hour, talking about the Inquest combos, the killer combos, and there's a killer combo right there, Tumble Magnet Gideon.
It's true. Kind of like Sunblast Angel, Tumble Magnet Limited.
Yep.
And so yeah, now he's going to tap that Gideon, and so he bolts the Gideon down to 1. But with Proliferate, Gideon can actually go up to 2 and kill that this turn. I don't even think he needs to. I think he can probably just go safely +2, Proliferate, Tumble Magnet down your Inferno Titan, and kill it next turn. Man, Contagion Clasp is doing all kinds of work. What an excellent card for this deck. Let's see what Sharfman decides to do. He's got Sun Titan in his hand, and I know he's tempted, but I think you just have to play conservatively and sit on your Clasp. Looks like he's thinking about cracking that Scalding Tarn. Alright, so he cracks the Tarn, drops to 16. And gets an island, of course.
There's no lingering mountains hiding in this deck.
No, no red about to pop out of nowhere.
Wow, he does lay it.
Well, that is fearless.
What is he getting back with that?
And I think it's Mana Leaks.
Oh, I don't know. Wow, you must attack Gideon. Well, I guess
now the Tumble Magnet's going to run out.
Now, yeah, the Tumble Magnet is going to go away. He can flicker it if he gets another Venser out. I think I would have just liked to sit back on the Clasp.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I see no reason to rush there. You just go +2, Proliferate, Gideon up. You can even kill the Inferno Titan next turn with Gideon if you want. And then you have the Tumble Magnet to deal with the Lotus Cobra, but that's not the line he took, and it cost him.
We'll have to see if this ends up costing him big.
Yeah, I mean that's a big problem. Now the question is, do you tap down that Inferno Titan with your Magnet?
I don't think you can. I think you just have to let him eat your Gideon.
So, I mean, if you tap it down, you can Proliferate with Gideon and throw your Gideon to kill. Yeah, so he does do it. It's going to drop Gideon down to 1. And then on David's turn, you can use Contagion Clasp. Oh, and Acidic Slime for Matt Cameron. What a blowout. Wow. That really hurt there. Absolutely brutal for David Sharfman. I can't see what the other card is. It looked kind of like Venser, but I wasn't totally certain. Yeah, so it is Venser.
Venser, there we go.
It's a good one to have. It'll let him reset his Tumble Magnet. He could reset Gideon, but I think you have to reset the Magnet and start locking down that Inferno Titan.
I think you have to get that Magnet back up.
Yeah, I mean, it means that he's going to lose his Gideon, but yeah, Magnet flickers out. Taps 2, and he's going to finally use that Spreading Seas he's been holding on to. The cantrip and draw a card. Draws the Plains. And Gideon goes +2.
Yep.
So that Gideon is going to eat the Lotus Cobra and get eaten by the Lotus Cobra and Acidic Slime. It's done a good job, but hasn't done a good enough one.
I mean, to be fair, though we're like kind of going, oh god, after this, right? After he taps that Inferno Titan, he will have a Venser going.
Right. That is Jace off the top for Matt Cameron, it looked like, though.
Oh boy. Wow.
Now, this is a really back and forth game right here. Harrison Greenberg just came over telling us he made top 8 finally with his Jumanji deck. He said he felt like today was the day, and it has been for him. He's made top 8. We'll be seeing him shortly. In the meantime, we have one little last result to pull in here. Very tight game. And down comes Jace for Matt Cameron.
There's going to be so many
And losing that Acidic Slime. Matt just had a great series of draws here.
To be fair, I think that David Sharfman did provide an opening here.
He's like my best friend.
You know, I think that this situation would have been not good, but not as bad as we see it.
Is that Gideon in his hand?
God, I just beat a rug too.
I think that might be a Gideon.
If that's Gideon, it might be in good shape. Yeah, it is a second Gideon.
Oh boy. And I think we're going to see a Royal Assassin action here.
Yeah, so locks down, gonna lock down that Inferno Titan, and then Temple Magnet can continue to do work if it needs to. And he might just be working toward a Venser ultimate at this point. He does have Celestial Colonnade, so next turn he can block. Alright, let's see. Okay, so he just says everybody attacks Gideon. He does not choose to kill Inferno Titan.
Wow. That seems... I don't know about that.
I mean, Temple Magnet can lock down the Titan, I guess. Interesting.
Flickers the Spreading Seas.
Drawing a card. Nice little interaction there.
This does mean that the Jace won't just merely run away with the game when it comes to the card advantage.
Right. And if David gets 2 more turns with that Venser, he can ultimate it, and then every spell he casts will exile any permanent of his choice. And at that point, I feel like the game is pretty much in his realm. We can kill that Jace. All right, so he...
Brainstorm into Precursor Golem and Friends.
I saw Precursor Golem and a Preordain. I wasn't sure what the third card was. It might have been another Precursor Golem. Let's see. Matt debating on this. He knows putting what cards he puts back here is really important.
This is game 3 between Matt Cameron playing Rug and David Sharfman playing Blue-White Control. They've got about 12 minutes left on the clock, so there is time, but I mean, there's also the real possibility that it might run out. They have huge possible attackers that are here with Inferno Titans, Gideons, Sun Titans, Precursor Golems.
Yeah, the board, for those just joining us, is on David Sharfman's side. He's got a bunch of lands, including a Celestial Colonnade, an Everflowing Chalice, Temple Magnet, Spreading Seas, Gideon, and Venser. On Matt Cameron's side, he's got a Jace, an Inferno Titan, an Acidic Slime, a Lotus Cobra, and a newly cast Precursor Golem with his 2 friends. David picks up his card for his turn, and at this point, he just feels like he needs to get that Gideon online. Or that Venser's Ultimate online, rather, sorry. Looks like he drew another Spreading Seas. So he's going to seize down a mountain, draw a card. He really needs to have judgment here.
Another blue card?
Yeah, he wasn't totally certain on what it was, though.
Seagate Oracle, perhaps?
Could be an Oracle. David Sharfman playing pretty conservatively this game with the sole exception of that 1 Sun Titan. Let's see. Managing his mana carefully. Taps 3. Yep, and it is a Seagate Oracle. So he's going to peek at his top 2 and grab 1. Plenty of card advantage here by David Sharfman. So he grabs 1, ships the other to the bottom.
Most likely I'm going to see a flicker on... I would say he might murder that Inferno Titan.
No, I think he's has to go +2 so Venser can get ultimate next turn.
Just go for the ultimate.
Yeah, and then you flicker the Seagate Oracle.
Flicker the Seagate Oracle, yeah.
I like flickering the Oracle. I mean, it's just better than flickering the Spreading Seas, unless you think he's got... no, he doesn't even have a red up, so he can't even
no open red.
Lightning Bolt. All right. Oh, those 2 face-down cards aren't cards in his hand; they're Spreading Seas. So yeah, so he flickers that Seagate Oracle, and gets to peek at 2 more, grabbing 1 of them. Grabs 1, ships the other, and now that Gideon is going to take 1 for the team.
Now he's going to have to tap that Inferno Titan with the Tumble Magnet if he wants to run this Venser plan.
Right. And then Magnet can't refresh next turn. But David needs to have spells in his hand for Venser's Ultimate to work. Now, the Ultimate is very good. I think I see 2 spells in his hand, though. He's looking at them pretty quickly. And Venser's Ultimate, for those unfamiliar, means whenever David Sharfman casts a spell, he exiles a permanent of his choice. That's brutal.
It can tear up games so quickly.
Yeah, now, that doesn't kill the Precursor Golems, but it would be able, all of them. But it would be able to get rid of the Inferno Titan, that Jace, all the cards hounding him. Alright, so now he's brainstorming all kinds of cards.
An Inferno Titan in hand.
But he can't cast it unless he has another red.
He's got a Lotus Cobra, though.
He does have a Cobra, yeah. Sharfman tried cutting him off of red with that spreading seas, but didn't turn out well enough. And yeah, that Inferno Titan would be able to take Sharfman off of Venser's ultimate. And yeah, he's got an active fetch line to play, so he can crack. And get a red. Down to 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes left in the round now. I don't think they're going to need all that time, but
I don't think they're going to need all that time either.
But we'll see what happens. I think we'll see the deciding play within the next 2 turns or so. If David draws, if they have judgments, if Venser's ultimate goes off and he has spells. Alright, so there's the Inferno Titan. David has the Mana Leak. And
which is enough in this case to take care of it.
Yeah, and so he taps the Inferno Titan.
Main event stage, please. Charles 80 to the main event stage.
And so he blocks Lotus Cobra, and down goes Gideon. So now the fate of the world is riding on that Venser, I think.
Yep. Kill a land at the end of the turn, Raging Ravine.
All right, so Ravine goes down. Drew
Okay,
a
Mana Leak. Not great.
Still exile a permanent, though.
Well, if he has something to leak.
That's true. He has to have to cast his own spell and then potentially leak it. All right, are we going to see Venser ultimate? He's thinking about it. He is thinking about it. I think
he needs to flicker a Seagate Oracle. Well, maybe the Tumble Magnet he has to. God.
I don't know. If he has a spell, I think you have to just go ultimate, and then you can start exiling his Inferno Titan and exile his Jace.
I only saw the Mana Leak. What
Nope,
else is
here we
there?
go. Emblem. Whenever you play a spell, exile a permanent. What an epic. This is honestly, like, this deserves the title epic. He's got Venser online, but will the ultimate be enough?
He might be too far behind. Oh, a spell?
Oh, a Tumble Magnet.
A Tumble Magnet. Ouch. Okay, I would knock out the Jace here.
Oh. Yeah, I think Jace is correct because you can take out, and he gets rid of the Jace because you can tap down that Inferno Titan. So Venser is going to die, but that emblem is pretty strong. I'm not sure if the correct play is to Mana Leak my own spell to,
I like the Mana Leak back,
like
honestly.
Mana Leak back. Does he have 6 up to block with Colonnade?
He does have enough mana for the Colonnade.
Okay, that's good reason. So yeah, he taps down that Inferno Titan.
Now he's got 11 power on the other side of the table that can come on in. To defend himself, he has only a Seagate Oracle.
Yeah.
And a Colonnade if he wants to tap nearly all the way down.
Oh, I think Matt Cameron just made a big misplay. Only attacked Venser with 2 creatures, and he activated that Colonnade and blocked with Seagate Oracle and Colonnade, making sure that Venser doesn't die. You needed 3 creatures to go on it for that to work.
Wow. 4 damage. There is still a Venser on the table, able to
and
flicker.
Day of Judgment off the top.
Oh,
Wrath your board, exile your mountain.
Wow.
And
is there a counterspell to fight for this?
I mean,
Oh,
even
man.
he has it, but it's not going to be enough. And I think that's it. I think that was the play. Mana Leak, pay 3.
Yeah, I'll pay for that. Now he can flicker that used up Tumble Magnet, or if he wants, the Spreading Seas.
I think you just flicker the seas to make sure you have enough spells.
Goes for the Tumble Magnet.
Okay.
Mana Leak back. Good
Yeah.
God. No red
So
sources.
Matt,
There's a
Matt
Jace.
draws Jace.
And he has enough mana to pay for the Mana Leak.
All right, sure, that's fine.
So I guess the Jace is going to resolve.
I don't think that's going to be enough to dig Matt Cameron out of this hole.
Now, if he uses the plus ability, he can save the Jace from the Colonnade that's in play. But, yay.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know what that actually accomplishes. That Jace is likely dying to any spell literally any spell David Sharfman draws. Unless it's a
or
Mana
no
Leak.
spell, because he can just Colonnade it, right?
Right. Let's see. Activates Colonnade.
In comes the Colonnade, going for the Jace. There are 4 minutes left in the round.
Yep. Flickers, Spreading Cease. Sharfman should be able to close in time, as long as he plays quickly enough. I'm sure they're aware of their time situation. We've been talking about it for the past several minutes, and it's likely that that he's not figured it out too. He's a very astute player.
Brainstorm.
Yep, so now Matt Cameron's brainstorming. It's going to take up some time, but I still feel like that colonnade will be able to close things out. Let's see.
What a roller coaster of a game.
Yeah, this has been back and forth. And Sharfman has played. I still don't like that Sun Titan play, but
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
But everything else, I feel he's played really conservatively, really well in a lot of situations. Has managed to put him in exactly the spot he needed to be. He got off Venture's ultimate. And
Lotus Cobra.
there's Cobra.
Which I would just mana leak to kill that Jace.
Yeah. All right, Mana Leak, exile your Jace.
Get the Jace out of there. Oh, yeah, that's right, the emblem.
Rough. And
Untap.
so what do you think? You guys see a second Venture
Is that
ultimate?
oh, do I see a Jace there?
Oh, and a Jace.
Oh, a Jace. What are we going to get rid of now?
And Matt Cameron packs him
wow. There we go.
in. David Sharfman takes it down in a close match. Like nail biter right down to the end. David takes it, goes into the top 8 of this tournament. I thought maybe he had the camera curse. We saw him get mana screwed for his 3rd consecutive game on camera in a row, but he pulled out the next 2 with careful play. And congratulations to David Sharfman, top 8 competitor of this event.
Absolutely.